when we were looking at standardized tests as a whole, 70% of educators don't think standardized tests are developmentally appropriate for their age range that they are teaching. So this is from high school down to elementary school. There's also enormous amounts of research that says that the way you perform on a standardized test is directly related to your socioeconomic status of your family or your parents' educational level, or both. So the idea that a standardized test, which again, this all began with George Bush, 2002, No Child Left Behind. The idea that you can measure a child and their growth through a standardized test instead of that relationship, again, that key relationship between the educator and the child, and understanding their growth and noting where they need support and being able to have that kind of communication and communicate that with that parent and having that kind of meaningful understanding of each other. The idea of that when we're looking at socioeconomics, so we understand that it's directly tied to the economics of it. And yet in West Virginia, 67% of our students qualify for free and reduced lunch across the state. So if we think 67% of our students essentially are marked for, an indicator of poverty, it shouldn't be surprising that if we look at last year's data, if we imagined that the Third Grade Success Act had gone in effect last year, and we look at just our third graders and who possibly could have been retained last year, we're actually looking at 55% of third graders would have had to repeat third grade based on their reading scores. And then based on their math scores, we're looking at 47% of third graders would have had to repeat third grade. Can you imagine what this will cause for us? Half of all our third graders are going to have to repeat third grade. We're going to have to find more third grade teachers, more third grade classrooms, have to give reading support for all these classes. And this is going to trickle down for years afterwards because this ballooned grade level is going to then go on to fourth grade and so on and so forth.
Because the standardized tests aren't actually designed for kids like the kids we have.
Yeah, for the types of kids who grow up in poverty. We're setting ourselves up for a huge failure. And this isn't something that teachers advocated for or parents advocated for. This came from outside resources. This essentially came from people who are pushing it in Florida who decided this would be a good idea in West Virginia. And Florida is in a lot better economic state than we are.